Welcome back, everybody.
Hi.
What's up, listeners?
What's up, everybody? If you just heard me yawning, I definitely yawned.
This is Ashley Chia.
And this is Felicia.
And this is Melanie.
Not y'all smacking before each of you say your name.
And Cody.
Yeah, go ahead.
Cody. We miss you, Cody.
Yeah.
Cody is not here today, but we will hold it down for her.
Hold it
and
down.
Keep you guys entertained with the Barbara Walter questions
Yes.
and things. That's funny. That was bothering me, but I just didn't want to touch it.
I saw it too, and I was like, I don't know what moisture that is.
It's fine.
We don't have this issue.
I sucked the snot out of my child's nose with my mouth
I remember
before.
you
You
telling
have
me
done that.
that.
I did that once.
Yeah, at this point,
Cameron was small.
the
It was
water
part curiosity and part survival.
Not curiosity.
I wonder what this
I was
tastes
like, my parents did this.
Yeah.
And then I realized there was a nose spray down. I was like, never again.
Yeah, there's no need.
What'd you do? It's like so you
just put your mouth on their nose.
Yeah, he couldn't breathe.
Yeah, when they're baby.
It was stuffy.
And you
Dang,
just...
that's crazy.
It wasn't crazy. It wasn't a lot.
Okay, I'm gonna do that with my next kid, just out of curiosity.
Oh,
Come on, next kid.
We'll talk about that in another episode. So I have a question for you ladies.
Of course.
So the other day, Sunday, I woke up and just like wasn't feeling good. And I told my son, I said, mommy doesn't want to get up right now. I don't feel good. And he said, oh, well, what does it feel like? And how I was feeling, I kind of woke up super anxious that day, just from like work and stuff. And I asked him, I told him, I said, well, it's actually my mental health. And he was like, oh. I said, well, do you know what mental health is? And he's like, yeah, it's when like when you feel sad or you feel mad or you feel, he starts like going through all the emotions. And so I was telling him, I'm like, yes, in the way that I'm going to care for that. And so, I told him, I was like, do you know what that means? He explains it back to me. And I was just expressing to him the way that I needed to honor that. I was watching church on Sunday. I was like, I don't feel like going to church. We ended up like deep cleaning the house just for clarity and all the things. But in that moment, I was explaining to them that sometimes when you're not feeling good, it doesn't necessarily have to mean like, oh, my arm hurts or my leg hurts. Like it can be a mental health situation, So how do you guys describe mental health and like just feeling, whether it's anxious or sad, like how do you guys express that to your children? And also how do you hold space for them to express, mommy, I'm having a mental health day or whatever it is,
That's interesting. For me, I do the same thing that you did. I tell them how I feel. I think with my mom, she definitely like held a lot in, didn't really show her weaknesses to me. She leaned into obviously her friends, but not in front of her children. Obviously, when I look back now that I'm a mother of 4 and know that she was a single mom, I can like pinpoint those moments like, oh, she was stressed or she was like having a hard time and just didn't know how to articulate that to us. So it came out in like yelling, Then
sad, huh?
It's very sad.
Yeah.
It's very sad. So I'm really open with my girls, specifically too, centered around like my cycle. I get very emotional and overwhelmed when my cycle's about to start. And I know that I'm so in tune with myself. I'm like, oh, I must be about to start my period. And so I tell my kids, like, I'll be like, guys, listen, mommy's on her period. I am bleeding. I am tired and I am exhausted and I'm drained. I don't want y'all yelling. And I'll tell them I cannot emotionally deal with that. And I'm very specific with my children about my feelings. I tell them all the time, like, I cannot deal with your emotions because I have my own.
Yeah.
This is too much for me. When the girls are arguing, I also want them to understand the impact of their behavior, right?
Taking responsibility for their little energy. I'm like, I don't care that you forced. Snap out of it.
Yes.
Damn it. And not in those words.
No, but yes, but essentially, like even with Asia, she is a very big emotional person. It's really hard for her to pull that in. And so I'm doing a lot of work with her around that. Like, you have a lot of big feelings, baby. And I know it feels overwhelming, but I actually got this from Sharice. Shout out to Sharice in her podcast. When I saw her doing a post with her daughter, like, you're in control of your body. Ever since I saw that, I use that all the time with Asia. I'm like, are you in control of your body or is your body in control of you? And it works all the time. I'm like, you have power over your body, baby. Like, you can tell yourself to calm down. And she'll be like, I can't stop crying. I'm like, actually, you can. Because if I told you that I was going to give you ice cream right now, you would stop crying. So that lets me know that you have the power. You're choosing not to. And I'm going to need you to choose to stop.
Girl, I love being like, you have a choice.
Yeah.
Make the choice. You're going left, you're going right. Tell me what you're doing.
Yeah, no, I definitely tell them how I'm feeling. And I tell them to express how they're feeling because that's not something that I think a lot of us grew up with, learning to identify our feelings and also the tools on how to deal with them.
Yeah.
It's not easy. What about you, Melly Mel?
Oh, I keeps it all the way real. The other night I came home, I was in such an exhausted space. And I remember just seeing myself float out of the room. Like the kids were in the living room, Jared was in the kitchen, and I just removed myself. And I was like, I don't want to talk to anybody. I don't want to be around nobody. I literally went into my room, laid on the bed in the dark.
Oh, that's the best.
Like it was 8:00 and I was just laying there, just in the dark. I didn't change. I would get ready for bed. It wasn't about sleep. It was about laying there in the dark. And I realized that like I was in a low space mentally. And my son came in and he was so gentle. Mom, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, buddy, I'm okay. Are you feeling okay? And I was like, buddy, I was like, Mom's just feeling a little low energy right now. He's like, are you going to sleep? I was like, no, I'm not going to sleep. Well, why are you laying in the dark? And I was like, because it just feels good too. And I just was honest with him. I was like, I had a long day, had a really hard day. Mommy's feeling a little low energy right now. So I just want to be still and be quiet. And he was like, okay, do you want to watch a movie? Dad and I are going to watch a movie. We'll wait for you. Aww. And he was so sweet, like that just so sweet in recognizing that. And my son is very much that way. He's very empathetic and very emotionally in tune with me specifically too. So
indigo child.
Yes, he is my indigo child for sure. So I think he understands without even expressing that he understands. He can feel it, But I talk to my children about like, okay, like, hey, how are you feeling? Or like, even if he gets upset over something that he wants to do that he didn't get to do, I also give it to him. I'm like, hey, I know it's not what you want to do. I know it's not the fun thing that you want to do, but it's something that we have to do.
Yeah.
And I can be here with you and help you through this, or I can leave you to it and you can figure it out. The choice is yours, and as also who has a child with big emotions, it's really important, I think, to just keep it real.
Yeah.
Like
100%.
Just like my son wakes up, he hates school.
Aww.
Like, and says it now. Like before it was just resistant to get out of bed. Now he wakes up and he's mad. He's like, I hate school. And I'm like, it breaks my heart, to like hear him say certain things. And best believe there's going to be days where I'm just going to be like, buddy, just stay home.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Because it's like, I'm not going to encourage you to believe that your life is just a matter of only doing the things you want to do versus some of the things that you have to do. However, as his parent, I will recognize, if this is going to stress you out, we're just going to take a day.
Yeah.
We're just going to take a day to reset. And, sometimes you miss something and then you appreciate it when you go back. I just feel like that's something that I try to implement in my relationship with my children, just very transparently. Yeah. Like my children see me and my husband argue. One day, like we got into we don't really argue or bicker.
Yeah, disagreements.
We disagree. We get little disagreements. But I remember one very clear, large argument we had where the kids were there. My sister-in-law had to take them out the room because Jared and I were locked into what we were discussing about. And it wasn't about anybody else in the room. And I remember shortly after that, Cameron brought up divorce.
Oh, baby.
And I was like, baby. And then, he brought up divorce after, like, are you guys going to get divorced? And I was like, no, And also that I think that's something too that I think is really important with kids is like, you got to let them see you be human.
Yes.
You got to let them see, like, I know families and marriages and people who literally were so like, we can't let the kids see us fight.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden you come to them and just be like, by the way, we're separating. What?
Yeah.
But I thought you guys were in love.
No,
I didn't see any
though.
friction. I didn't see any tension. Also, your kids need to see conflict resolution.
Yeah.
Your kids need to see you argue with your friends, argue with their family members, argue with their loved ones, and then have healthy discussions and make up and then come back to love again.
Yeah.
That's what life is really about.
Yeah.
It's not just about like, oh, everything's fine. Somebody's going to put a big Band-Aid on everything. No. Sometimes your ass needs to fight and you need to see it. And you need to see us make up as well.
Well, it's teaching them healthy ways to disagree and healthy ways to fight. Because me and Chia have disagreements all the time in front of our kids. And they'll be like, Mommy, are you mad at Daddy? I'm like, yes, and you. Now all y'all get out of my face. Everybody leave.
Also, what do you want for dinner?
Right, exactly.
Here, because I can love you and be upset with you at the same time.
You know what Asia says? She'll be like, okay, so she's going to ask me something. She'll go, I just don't want to ask you because I don't want you to be mad at me. And I'll be like,
God, that's peace and zen.
I'm like,
you making me mad right now.
Thank you. You know what I tell them all the
God.
time? The only time I'm ever going to be mad at you is if you lie to me.
Don't lie.
That's the only thing that makes mommy mad. I'm like, there's not anything you could say to me that's going to make me mad at you. I'm like, I might not agree with it, or I might tell you no, or you might not get what you want. But I said also not telling me is annoying because I know that you want something. You're lingering around me, right? Mm-hmm. And so just say what you mean. And either I'm agree or I'm a disagree, but it doesn't even matter. But just also like that energy of them. Asia will ask me anytime that she gets in trouble, do you still love me? And I'm like, I will always love you. Yeah. There's nothing you can do to not make me love you. I said, but if you guys are, because this is what I be getting into AZ about, if you talk to me crazy, of course I love you, but I'm not going to talk to you. You cannot have access to me anymore. And I tell especially my teenager this part, we're either going to be cool or I'm going to just be your mom. You choose. But that energy right there, that's not something that I'm choosing to be a part of. You can't talk to me crazy because I don't talk to you crazy. You can't treat me like that because I don't treat you that way. And it's my job as your mother to make sure that you're fed, you're loved, you're housed. But I don't have to take you to the mall. Girl. I ain't got to buy you nothing for your birthday. Girl. I don't even got to give you a cake.
I just told the kids that the other day. Something happened because because they're getting older, I've been really big on like, saying no more.
Yes, you know? That's important.
And so I forgot, I think it was Zen. He was like, that's mean. And I said, Zen, I don't think you understand
what
like,
mean is.
I do a lot. And I'm like, and to be honest with you, I don't have to do none of that stuff. The only thing I have to do is keep you fed, alive. Keep you clothed. Right. Yeah, keep you alive. And that's it. I'm like, all that other stuff is extra. But I have to tell them, I'm like, do your friends come to school and tell you, you know, the activities that they're doing with their parents? And they're like, no, their parents don't do that. I'm like, exactly. So count your blessings, you know?
Count your days, buddy.
And you know, and they get it. At first, it was actually a little bit difficult to tell them no at first because they were just like, no, what do you mean? But now they know what it is.
Oh, okay. This is like a deviation from this conversation, but like a little bit. So even when you said tell them no, right? So now me and Chia are in a space of, I would say, reverse parenting, where I'm definitely the yes mom. He's definitely the no dad.
Wow.
But then like I saw how that affected my teenagers. You know how I keep telling y'all, let them daddies or whoever tell them no. So like, how are you managing, or how do you do that? Especially like, I know for you, it's probably hard. I have a lot of friends who co-parent and they feel like when their kids are at their house, they have to say yes because they don't want to be the mean parent. So like, how do you even navigate that? Either of you, you know, like I definitely, Chia this morning told Amira her homework's not due until Thursday. He was like, just do it today. She got a whole attitude about it. And she was like, I have time to do it. And I'm like, no, but you also have an acting class on Wednesdays and Thursdays. So she hit me with it doesn't even start on Wednesdays until October 5th. So I have time to do it. Oh, the rebuttals at her is she's such a logic-based person too. So she's going to she's fact-based. Yeah. Like whatever you say to her, well, that's actually not the fact. So she don't care.
Oh, it sounds like her mom.
Yeah, I know. I know. I see myself.
And that's the Pisces child, not even a Virgo.
Girl, I know. She be giving it to me sometimes. And so she was like, I heard her getting a little saucy with her dad. So I came in the room. You know, I usually do that. And I'm just trying to fill out the vibe because she don't really do well with that energy. And so I'm like, so I have a little talk with her, you know, about her little tude. And so the old me, because that's the thing, I am a logic-based person. So in my mind, I'm like, okay, she has till Thursday. Like in my head, I'm like, why the hell does she have to do the homework today? Like, who cares?
Yeah. You said this out loud?
No, I didn't. Okay, the old me would have. The old me definitely would, because to me, I am a logic person. Like, I don't move off of emotion. I'm like, logically, I used to do all my homework the day before it was due too. Like some people work better that way. Why I got to do it ahead of time? And so in my head, I'm thinking like, she's right. And then when she hit me with the fact of like, she doesn't have to go to class on Wednesday. So I'm like, yeah, she has time. And he's like, I want you to do all your schoolwork today. Right. You don't know what's going to happen. You don't know what's going to come up. Just get it done today. You have time today. You're not doing anything else today. So just do it today. Then you don't have to worry about it for the rest of the week.
I mean, it's also a good strategy.
It's very right.
So I'm like how Chia thinks. That's how I'm.
Yes. Well,
like, let me just do it now. So I don't have to think about it no more.
Exactly. But that you're also successful. I suffer with procrastination. Right. So I'm thinking of all this stuff. So instead I was like, at the end of the day, your dad told you to do it.
It's that part.
And that's what I thought of.
Because I said so.
Yep.
That's why.
Yes. And he's right, though. I was like, you might not understand, and your logic, it doesn't make sense to you. But I was like, but at the end of the day, your father just told you to do something.
That's it.
And you need to be doing it.
That's it.
Because he told you, even if you don't agree.
Yep.
But like, how do y'all navigate that? Do you object to your spouse, or you know what I mean, when they want them to do something that you don't believe in, or do you just like, you know?
I do. Gav and I do the same thing that you guys do.
Mm-hmm.
Like, let's say for instance, and it took us time to kind of like get this flow with co-parenting, because obviously co-parenting and parenting comes with no damn manual.
Right.
But we got to a point where like we noticed that Peace would be worrisome about maybe, you know, I left my basketball shoes at daddy's house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so we decided him and I are going to be the one to communicate, and she just shows up as a kid. Like, don't worry about all this other stuff, right? Be responsible and things. But when there's something that like maybe she wants to ask me or ask him, I'm always like, I'm going to talk to your dad first. They both know that it's like, no, me and daddy are going to connect, and we'll come back to you guys as children to tell you what's going on. Like, Peace wanted to spend the night at one of her friend's house. I knew the answer was no. And so I was like, I don't think so, but I'm going to talk to your dad about it. She's just like, oh, but I'm like, yeah, because you know daddy's going to be no. Like, yeah.
Yeah.
But to be honest with you, being viewed as like the not bad parent, but like the one that says no, fun, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, the amount of times that I tell them no, and the amount of times that their dad tells them no, their life is so good that it's like, I don't really worry about ever looking like the parent that is, you know, that's not showing up, you know? So I don't think about it. I'm like, yeah, y'all know I'm tight. I know I'm tight. I'm like, I know that y'all know that I'm tight. You guys tell me every day,
right?
You know? So yeah, I talk to the adult on that. I'm really happy that you said that about not like overriding Chia in front of the girl.
Yeah.
I'm so happy you said that.
Yeah, we don't ever typically, but we'll still like, if we have difference of opinion, then it's like if she talks to her dad and says no, I wait till she's not around, and if I agree, but then I might change. Then I say yes, and then he's like, okay, whatever, I don't agree with that. So that, but then I feel like that's still like not good. So I just really started to move towards, I'm going to just let whatever his answer is be what it is.
Yeah.
Talk to him about it so that the next time it comes up, if I disagree, then he says yes. But as having a teenager, I'm starting to see that the no's are important. The making them earn stuff is important.
Hell yeah.
And I didn't see the effects of that until she became a teenager. That's why I always be trying to tell y'all, like, let me tell you something. It's cute when they little, but that shit manifests differently as they get older.
Yeah.
And those no's are hella important for kids. Like, they need to hear no probably more than they hear yes.
Girl, that's what I said. I said, yeah, y'all. I noticed how much I said yes when I started to say no, and their reaction. I was like... And I told their dad, I was like, damn, bro. I was like, I'm really trying to work on saying no. I was like, I didn't realize how much I say yes. And their dad is like, say no, Felicia. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
I didn't realize I was saying yes as much as I was. But now they're used to it. So we're good. I should have great teenage years ahead of me.
I'm proud of you, friend. What about you, Mel?
Oh, no, I love no. I say no all the time. I don't care.
No.
Really? And say no all the time. Absolutely. I don't care.
I can see her saying no all the
yeah,
time.
no,
Really?
because
not to Cam. That's
because,
a love bug.
of course, he's the love of my life.
Smile.
He is. He's
She
so
said,
sweet. Even though I can't wait to when Cody comes back, because I really can't. I have a really good topic about that I want to talk about when she comes back, because I know we have sons that are the same age. But no, I really do. A no is something that I think is really important. And I'm quick to remind my children, hey, this is what it is. I didn't make this up. Like, whenever I see my son balking and like kicking back on like, oh, well, why? And like the other day, first of all, I am the parent right now. I'm in the season of mom is not the fun parent. That's me. Because I'm home more right now. And so I'm the one that's enforcing homework. I'm the one that's doing the got you gotta get your lunch together. I'm the one that's doing that right now. We're back in school. So I'm the one that's coming with a little bit more structure and regulation. So it's not as fun. But the other day, Cameron was like, wanted to do his homework and fighting. And I don't want to do my homework, blah, blah, blah. I was like, hey, look, listen. I was like, I told you every day when you come home, 4:00 is when we do homework. If you do not want to do homework, this is your choice.
Yeah.
You can go to school without your homework being done. But then you will have to face the consequences of expressing to your teacher why your homework's not done, and that you might feel not so good about when you see her reaction. I'm like, I'm here at 4:00 to help you with your homework. This is when I am here. This is when we're here. If you don't want to do it, this is what it is. And a friend of mine said that to me the other day. She's like, you might need to let him go to school and feel what that is.
Times. Yeah.
Because I'm over here fighting him every day. Was he? Yes.
Yeah. No, I agree with that.
It was Ashley. That's right.
It was me.
It was Ashley. I was like, which friend of mine? I was like, I really only have two friends these days.
There was this amazing friend. I forgot who it was.
She's like, here.
She gives great advice.
Yes. And literally, and I said that to him, and I was like, you're going to have to go to school then. And that's the alternative. Yeah. So you decide. I said, this is your choice. you can either make this as hard, easy, difficult as you want it to be. This is on you. And I leave him.
Wait, did you let him? Did you let? I'm curious. What was his choice?
Oh yeah,
no, he chose to do the work.
That's what I was gonna say. I was like, I bet you anything when we release like that, you got to do this right now, and it's like, you know what, you have a choice. He's probably gonna be like, well, damn, like I think I should do it now. I don't know, it's like a little,
I didn't give you the advice. I forgot the advice myself because I should tell Chia to be like,
sounds like you.
Right, I know it's very typical of me. But I feel like I should just tell him like next time, tell her to do it, and then let her decide.
Yeah,
and figure out, because the other thing is, if schoolwork's not done, you're not going nowhere. You're not doing nothing else. Can't have your that is the part that I struggle with, and that's what happens when you have multiple children. 4 kids. Yes, you have to be very careful because somebody's going to fall through the cracks. You have to be so intentional with like giving them these life lessons and making sure that you're paying attention to each child, because sometimes you don't have the energy to think about all of those things after that, right? But it's like, no, because we already told her, I'm not a grades person, but I am with Amira because she is too smart.
Yeah.
You have to get straight A's. She does. There's no reason for her not to, though. Do you know what I mean? Like, she took this math assessment test yesterday, get in the car and I go, well, what did you get on it? She was like, I was within the range. I'm like, Amira.
Girl, what the hell that mean?
What did you get in? And she's like, I was within the range that I was supposed to be in. So I left it alone because I didn't have the energy to argue with her, but I'm going to bring her back her upper. So when
I'm going to bring her back her upper.
Oh. The bounty, quicker picker upper.
That's me. So after everybody went
Crystal,
to sleep,
make sure you put that one on the feed.
I was just about to say, Crystal, take that note down. That's a good clip. And the bounty cut the check. Thanks.
Right. So I brought it back up at like 8:00 at night. And I was like, oh, by the way, because I didn't forget, I was like, what did you get on the test? So I think the range went to like 240 was the top. She was like, I got it like 260. And I was like, that's amazing. She was like, I know, within the range. She didn't want to tell me because she doesn't want me to place her in the math above the math she's in because she doesn't want to be pushed right now. And all her friends are in the same math class as her. So she's purposely like not telling me. She's like, well, it doesn't matter what I got on it because we're already placing our classes and they're not going to put us in another class. But guess what I got today? An email from the school. They're doing their math assessments this week so we can determine who needs to be moved up or be pushed back. And so I screenshot it and sent it to her. And I was like, anyways, I'm always right. Don't ever try to tell me what I don't know.
Child.
Right. But it's also going back to what we were talking about. Like, sometimes I need to just let her fail. And that's the hardest part for me as a parent is I don't like to watch my children fail. So what happens is I end up overcompensating and, like staying up with them, doing their homework, even though you know that you're the one giving all the energy. And really what I realize is that is like crippling our children. And it's so hard to watch them fail because you know what they're capable of. But I'm realizing that I'd rather them fail now than when they're older.
Okay, I have a counter to that. I don't feel like fail is the right word.
Okay, well,
I feel like it's just a lesson.
Hard lesson.
Right, but fail meaning
lesson.
like, but don't you feel, okay, so we associate as adults failure as in I didn't make this or I didn't do that, right? And so there's always a lesson in that. But sometimes I think you can fail at things, meaning like if she has a requirement to get straight A's because she's capable, if she wasn't, that would never be a requirement in our home. So I just want to point that out to the parents, like, know your child, know what they're capable of. If your kid can't get straight A's, you should not be asking them to. Amira can. So for me, it's like, if she's not, then you can't have all of these other things that we give you, because if you're not getting straight A's, that means you're on your phone, you're procrastinating, you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing.
Your job is to live up to your best potential.
Yes, and Amira can get straight A's in her sleep. This is not an issue for her. She's taking classes below what she should be because she's doing what everyone else in the 9th grade is doing because she wants to be with her friends. She doesn't want to be in class with upperclassmen, so she's purposely doing what she can to skate by. Do you know what I mean? So this is also a lesson for her. Like, you can't always be with everybody. And sometimes when you have a gift and there's something else for you, you're going to have to be alone.
You're going to have to leave.
You're going to have to be alone. Don't live your life based on everybody else's spectrum just to be with them, because you don't know what their plan is in life and what they have, what's for them. And so it's more so maybe not fail, but it is fail when I feel like you're failing at your potential or you're failing at being responsible, time management. So I have to kind of let her maybe get a bad grade because she's never experienced that to realize why I'm saying the things I'm saying. Because honestly, sometimes your kids don't know why you're telling them this until they receive the opposite. Like, oh, you're telling me to stay up, da-da-da. We force them to do it. They keep getting good grades. They don't appreciate it. So if I say it and put my hands up, then you get a B, C, D, F or whatever, then you're like, this is why my mom is saying that.
It was Donna's lesson on the Mama's Day when she was like, don't leave your bike outside.
Oh, right.
But that's what I was
Don't leave your bike outside. Yeah. For those of you who listened to that episode, my mom
she had it
took my bike and hid it for me.
Right. But I was going to say, like, at what point do you allow Amira to listen to her own intuition and trust herself? Because as their moms, obviously we know what I know what your potential is. We can see them before they can see themselves, right?
For sure.
And so it's like, when do you start doing that?
Now.
Yeah.
Now.
You, like,
That's like even just realizing the conversation today, talking to you ladies today, I was feeling that way, but I'm more and more like just talking it through with you, realizing the importance of like, I'm going to just start saying things one time with her. Yeah. And just let her figure it out.
So I got the kids a behavioral therapist, and AKA she's my parenting coach. She's fantastic. Black woman, we love her. But that was the thing. Zen is my child that likes to just really test me and try me. And I was telling her, I was like, sometimes I just get so frustrated because I'll tell him something and he'll do the complete opposite, or he'll just make it a big thing and it's really not. So that's when we came up with the calming corner. She's like, okay, have a calming corner. So now I say things once and I'm like, for instance, the other day, he didn't want to eat his broccoli. And I'm like, look, bro, this is what it is. You either eat it or you don't eat it and you go to bed hungry.
That part.
And like, that's the end of it. I'm like, so you get to make a choice. Screaming and crying. And I'm like, yeah, but I already gave you a choice. I was like, you can go upstairs in your calming corner and take a second to like really think about it. I'm like, but this is on you. Yeah. I'm not hungry. Like, I'm not hungry. Yeah. You got it, So I've definitely I've been learning that lesson a lot lately is like, just say it once. And it's because it's like, I want you to eat your food. I don't want you to go to bed hungry. But I'm like, but also you're making a choice and helping them to understand, like, you have I tell them all the time, like, you guys have a choice throughout life. Yep. This is, I tell Peace one time, she like, eat all my food. She's just like, that's kid.
So hard too when you only have two and one is like going to listen to you and the other one is pushing you, because then you don't like it messes with your mind as a parent. You know what I mean? Because Amira was like that as a child. She did everything that I said, but now that she's getting older, when it comes to things that she disagrees with, she has an opinion about it.
She's using her voice.
She's using her voice, but she's been empowered to. But what you just said, that's how I'm with AZ. I'm like, all right, well, you could do what I said and this is what you get. If you don't do what I said, that's also a choice, but this is what comes with that. Absolutely. So you choose whichever path you want to go down. But what we're not going to do is be screaming in my face, because that's not a choice.
Girl.
That's just not a choice at all. You go scream in your room, in your pillow, but not in the space of everyone else. That's literally not even an option in our home.
Yeah, that's that. I tell them all the time, I'm like, you woke up like that? I'm like, you need to go back in the room and go take responsibility for your energy, because you coming down here tripping and we not on that right now. Bye. They like, I'm like, girl, bye. Get out my space. Listening to my morning affirmations.
You are messing up my vibe.
You really are. Bye, little kid.
Bye, little kid.
Get up out of here, kid.
I mean, it's really all centered around, though, like speaking up, being true to who you are, and teaching your children to use their voice. And also teaching them to be responsible for their voice and their choices.
The funny thing is when you teach your children how to use their voice and they start using that thing against you, you're like, hold on. I didn't prepare for this part.
That's going to be Mel and Kaya. I'm really just sitting back watching like...
I'm in therapy now.
It already is Mel and Kaya.
For Kaya. I'm 100% in therapy right now because I know that little Donna lives inside of me. Yes, she does. And so I'm not going to take those parts that I want to break in the generational traumas and the curses and taking them and projecting them onto my daughter, because I know that I'm going to need all the tools. That girl is going to call me out.
Yeah, you got this, girl.
I got to be prepared.
You got this.
So I have to be my most solid self. Yep. Yeah. I can't be reactive. I can't speak from emotion. Yep. It's never going to work with her. I know who she is. I just know. I see it.
Oh my God, she's so cute.
I'm gonna show you a video. I'm gonna show you a video.
She's so scrumptious.
My recent video is, can I have a kiss? No. Cry. She tells me to cry. I'm gonna show you. I'm gonna show you. And then when I cry, I'm like, ooh. Then I look up at her. She busts out laughing.
Yo.
Cry. What a sadist. She's crazy.
Oh,
That's a wild girl.
She's a wild girl. That's that
wild
Sagittarius. Sagittarius.
What is her moon sign again?
Girl, she a Gemini moon.
That's that Gemini.
That's that Gemini for sure.
That's not a Sagittarius trait.
She's a Capricorn rising. Let's play.
Dang, she all the things.
All the things.
In
the
one
Capricorn in her,
baby.
I do. Like, I am a little bit of a sadist.
Oh, yes, you are.
Are you sad? Good.
Good. Yes.
Cry.
Cry. Tell me you love me.
But I really do.
Tell me I'm right.
This is exactly
Crazy.
Y'all, I'm going to show
I
you the
do
video.
love a little punishment.
I recorded it this morning. I'm going to show it to you. Y'all don't believe. I'm serious. I can't even make it up.
That's hilarious.
But I really do think it really does come down to that. It's really being able to advocate for yourself in a healthy way. Period. I want to be an example of that, and I want my children to learn from that as well for themselves. And then obviously there's going to be some times when it's like, oh damn, they use my own shit against me.
Yeah.
But you know what? Like, that's when we have to remember, be smarter than the kid. Outsmart the kid. But then also you get that reassurance as a parent inside that you're just like, ooh, my kid is going to know what to say if they're in this situation without me. Yeah. You know, so I actually, to bring it home, I'm big on just keeping it real.
Yeah.
Just keeping it real.
I do want to say this to you, Mel. I think it's absolutely beautiful and proactive that you recognize the things that you love about your mother, but that you dislike about your mom that are inside of you, because I think we all have that.
We're programmed.
But you have a daughter and you are saying to yourself, I know who I want to be and show up for her. I recognize her energy. It doesn't really resonate with mine. So I'm going to get the tools.
The thing is, though, it does.
Well, you know what I mean. But as far as like how to deal with it.
That was a kind of look.
She did look just like her.
Did you just see it? She went
when
like
she looked
this.
to the side.
Yeah.
Yeah, she looked just like you.
I also feel like with our kids, I feel like this is it's such a good example of this, is like iron sharpens iron. You guys are both doing it for one another. I know I feel like that with Peace and Zen.
Yeah.
You know, it's
both of you going to therapy and recognizing that you getting what is it called?
Therapy, psychology, behavioral therapist.
The behavioral therapist.
Couples counseling. Girl, I got all
of it. Sign me up.
But that's beautiful though, because so many people will just say, oh, my mom or my parents were this way, or I don't know. But like, that's the thing that I think is important for our listeners to know, is that we're proactively and currently getting the help we need to show up as the best parents we can be. We're not perfect parents, and we're recognizing our flaws. And instead of just sitting in them, we're like, I need help and I need someone to help guide me through this, because I know I don't have the tools for this future thing, or I currently don't have the tools for my children. And so it's never too late, was my point, to seek help and redirect the vibe of your home, or how you're interacting with your children, speaking to your children and teaching your children to show up for themselves and how you show up for yourself. Yep. Like, get the extra help if you need it.
Yep.
For shizzle.
Dang, we're deep.
Deep.
Thanks for listening, y'all.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Bye.
Bye.